So Wayne, if Santa could bring you anything comedy wise for Christmas, what would he bring you?
Goddamn, a segue for you.
Let's give it loud everybody for Anthony Eugenio. Bring up your next comic. Very funny. Wayne Russell, everybody.
Welcome to the Open Mic Pain with Anthony and Wayne podcast.
So, what do you think is worse, Wayne's World Party Time or Anthony Prince Spaghetti Day? Like, which one sucks? Because I'm sure in your life, every time someone's like, "Oh, Wayne's World Party Time,"
Every
that you
time.
got that every time. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I would get it's Anthony a Prince Spaghetti Day, and every time I go, "God damn it!"
Despite living in Spaghettiville,
Hmm.
never heard that. I didn't know that until you told me about it.
It is incredible. It's really an older person thing. It's like people who were like 45 when I was 8 years old, so now all dead. They were all the ones that would yell that at me. Plus, and I still get old comedians who'll be like, "Oh, Anthony, like the Prince Spaghetti," and I'm like, if I can go back in time, and they were like, "You can kill baby Hitler, or you can kill the pasta Anthony kid," that kid, 100, not even, I wouldn't even think about it. Wouldn't be a second I would kill that kid in his cradle. Jesus.
My dog must have dropped the bone up there.
Yeah, god damn.
I would kill that bone. That's what I would do.
Yeah, your dog's like, whoop!
Yeah, I mean, the Wayne's World thing didn't really bother me much. Everybody loves Wayne's World, but everybody likes pasta too, right? Everybody likes spaghetti.
Yeah, but I didn't want to be known as the guy who made spaghetti.
What else are you going to be known as?
The Italian Portuguese kid who's not Italian. So Friday, we are at Lil Chuck at the
Hell yeah.
Charles motherfucking Playhouse, opening for the legend Steve Bjork. That's exciting, huh?
That's very exciting. It's a great way to cap off the year. We got
I know.
we got Little Chuck, and then we both have New Year's shows for
Yep.
Mike Atrobus. I'm down on the Cape, and you're in. Are you in Andover?
Andover. Yeah.
Yep. So you're at the Wicked Funny.
No, not a Wicked
No?
Funny. It's at the DoubleTree Hotel.
Oh yes, that's right. Oh, that's right. Because I think Christine Hurley's at Wicked Funny
She is. She can
with
crush
Matt
it.
Mishy.
And tonight, technically not tonight. This is in the past, everybody, but the past, future X-Men. Jacques is with Christine Hurley right now, so bet they're crushing it.
Yeah, I was
Could've
just
had
texting with him a little bit right after he got off stage. He said it went really well. So,
Oh,
congrats to
nice.
Jacques.
You text him. Congrats to Jacques. Yeah, they must have been a packed house over there.
It was sold out.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
yeah. You're gonna bring the boys to the yard for Christine Hurley.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I'm
what do
excited
you
for
think
Little
about-
Chuck.
I know. I was about to
Little
ask.
Chuck.
Like, what do you
That's-
think?
Yeah,
Little
very
Chuck.
very pumped about that.
I don't know if that's the biggest venue we've ever done, but it's the nicest comedy venue we would have ever done, right?
Probably the biggest too. Well,
The
maybe. I
biggest
mean,
too?
you had a couple big fundraisers. I've had some
Yeah.
100+ crowds. This is a 199 seat room.
So close.
Um,
Yeah, that's gonna be
so I
close
mean,
to the biggest I've ever done.
Yeah, so if it's full, that'll be the biggest for me. Until potentially New Year's Eve. Supposedly my New Year's Eve show is selling like hotcakes.
Yeah, people love New Year's Eve shit. That's for sure. Didn't know that
Yeah.
about comedy, that it was that important, because no one cared about us last New Year's Eve. I didn't even see all the shows last New Year's Eve. Didn't
Yeah, I
realize
didn't
they
even know there were
existed.
shows on New Year's Eve. I was like, who wants that?
Who wants to
So I
do
got
that?
offered
Yeah,
one. I was like,
exactly.
I want that.
It's the best thing in the world, really. Yeah, I think about that all the time when it comes to bookers. Like when someone's like, "This booker's mean," I'm like, "Yeah, fuck that booker," and then that booker's like, "You want a show?" And I'm like, "I love that guy. He's the best guy in the entire world. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, it's funny how that works.
Things change. Things change as soon as you get cool shows. Um, but yeah, that's kind of. I'm. This is something I realized today, that I'm in Boston every weekend for an entire month, and that sucks, but is also pretty cool because
Yeah, it's a big drive for you.
involved. Yeah, it's a big drive and it sucks to park, especially this time of year. Really, really hard to park. But if you said a year ago, because this is a good, we're doing a Christmas episode, everybody. This is Christmas special, Christmas Crater Christmas. If you told me last Christmas that I'd have a month where I would do the City Winery, Nick's Comedy Stop, and Lil Chuck, you know, all within a couple weeks of each other, I would have been like just pumped to do one of those for 1 second. So we're both doing cooler venues now, so that's nice. So 1 year ahead, cool to be
Mm-hmm.
doing. We used to say like, man, do one show like Wicked Funny once a year, and comedy's all set. We'll do open mics the rest of it, and to get more gigs that are, I don't know, but you're almost used to that style. Where you're like, oh, it's gonna be a good crowd tonight, or it's gonna be a shit crowd tonight. But you're talking about crowd. You're not like, oh, it's gonna be a good group of our friends who are comedians tonight, or it's gonna be a bad one. You know,
Yeah.
it's cool to actually be trying stuff in front of real people.
Yeah, real people, and like we've talked about before, certain venues just are super conducive to comedy. And a place like Little Chuck, which is essentially made for that. They're doing other things there as well, but it's all comedy based, improv and funny plays and stuff like that. But you can guarantee it's going to be conducive to comedy, just like the Wicked Funny, just like McHugh's Room in Portsmouth.
And it's just nice to see that. I don't know. It's like we're in a group now of really good friends that all wanted to do the show together. Obviously that upwards of to Steve Bjork being really cool and wanting us on there, which is incredible that he'd want to do
Mm-hmm.
that. But it's just more, like Mike Katrobis is hosting, Jacques on the lineup, Zach Morin's on it. So it's just all of our, good friends that we made. And to do a culmination of a show where we went from 0 gigs ever to, because I think my gig with Delusional, the first paid gig or something, I think that was this year. I don't know if it was the end of
It
last year or the
was.
beginning of
It
this
was.
year.
It was January. So I think mine was like January 12th, and yours was like the 13th, the day before, the 11th, or it was like the 12th and 13th, or something like that.
Remember, he has the same weekend. So yeah, just if you watch our episode from then, you'll see how fucking pumped we are to be like, we're getting a gig, and both of us were getting it at the same time. To just now, not even a year later, to go and finish the year, with a couple really awesome gigs, including Little Chuck, which would be something we dreamed about doing. It's really cool because there's going to be a couple years going forward where you don't take steps like that. You're not like
Yeah.
going. The equivalent to this would be like if we were doing theaters at the end of the next year. That's like the fucking
Yeah.
craziness of the step that we took. So we're not taking steps like that anymore. So I think it's really important that we sit and really put into perspective how different comedy is this Christmas than it was last Christmas. What do you remember about comedy last Christmas?
There wasn't much of it. I didn't do much because it was I had my work Christmas party, and then obviously the holidays, things were getting canceled. The New Year's, there wasn't a lot going on, so I was pretty dormant during Christmas. Got out where we could, but it wasn't a lot in December last year.
I remember I was doing a lot of Max Schultz stuff last year during Christmas time, and I remember that because I hosted One Broadway Collaborative, rest in peace, One Broadway Collaborative, and it was right near Christmas, and there was so much fucking snow on the ground, and I had to park in Lawrence, and they were like, plop, 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 and I had to walk over to the thing. It's a tough area.
Yeah, I don't miss having to go to Lawrence, but that was a cool
No.
mic.
It was, and now I think the closest to that Mike's feeling, besides Max's other mics like Crosstown and all that stuff, of course, follow that, is our mic at 19 Carter, which on January 6th, the day that is a national holiday better than Christmas, we will have our open mic again. So storm
Yep.
it up, baby.
Yep. Still spots open. Hit us up. Tons of spots open right now.
Yeah.
So save your Christmas money. Come out, tell some jokes. Go home either happy or disappointed. And either way, you'll have a good time.
Yeah, there's something. The great thing about an open mic is, and comedy in general, is I feel like your perspective gets Like, for instance, you go do Wicked Funny on a sold out night and you do jokes, and then you're like, how could you go to an open mic again? How could you go up there and do the same thing, but instead of people being really happy you're doing it, people are really mad that you're doing it? And there's just something that, if you just get a little chuckle at an open mic on a new joke, it feels just as good as nailing one of your closers at a thing to me, at like a sold out show. You could just find the way to compartmentalize what you're doing and go, this is work. I'm working on new jokes, and I got it now. Instead of just being focused on how good it's going. Because I remember my first open mics for years when we were doing this that was the show. How good did the open mic do? Did you crush? Did you have a good, like, who cares if it's other comedians? Did you make them laugh? That's all that matters. And now I'm like, I don't really give a shit about the laughs so much so that I want to know that a rhythm of a joke that's new is working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it is for me. When I go up, it's nice to get a laugh and get some feedback and know if something's working. But you can practice in your car or in front of a mirror or in your basement, your bedroom, whatever, over and over again. But you're not going to get that rhythm that you need unless you're on a stage telling the joke.
Yeah, because you just say certain words when you're on stage, and you get a certain, like, you could say something in your setup that is so innocuous when you're practicing it, but it gets a reaction in a moment. You know to pause there and hold it, or you know to build it up. Really, to me, I keep saying to me, really to Anthony, I'm going to speak in third person now. The, like, man, the biggest epiphany I've had lately is rhythm to set up a joke. Where before I'd write a joke out and it would have certain rhythm because it's a joke, set up and punchline and all that. But to just know to milk your reveal to a punchline has been working so well for me. Like when I know a punchline's coming and I can just build the tension to them where it gets quieter and quieter and quieter in the room because they're waiting for the shoe to drop. And then to let the shoe drop in a more unexpected way. It's kind of like how you get jump scares in movies, and for like 5 years, everybody was just doing basic jump scares that were really hacky and stupid. And in the beginning, it was fine, but then it got stale. And then they started figuring out more creative ways to scare you in those jump scare ways where they just came a half beat later or in an area you weren't expecting, so it got you. That's what it feels like. It feels like, all right, like before, I think I was a little predictable when the punch is coming, and
Mm-hmm.
now I think it comes up a little bit more surprising, and it's all on rhythm. That's how you could do the same material a couple months later, and it hits so much harder. Is you like figuring out that little stuff.
Yep. Yep. And something to kind of go, personal experience. This past weekend, I was at Navigation for the Misfit show with Katrobus, and I had a kid from work show up. He lived down the street or whatever, so I came in. And in the beginning, I kind of front loaded it with some stuff that I don't do a ton, and then a couple new things. But the last like 6-7 minutes were like my staple jokes, the things that I know I say in my sleep, unless I have dreams where I forget them. And he actually mentioned that to me. He's like, "Yeah, the last half you said it felt like you were more comfortable." And I was like, "That's because I was like I was doing these to get the reps in and stuff that I haven't done for a little bit, so I'm doing it again and just having that repetition. You're right, you get that rhythm and it's like an instinct, like a spidey sense of when to dodge, when to pause, when to whatever.
And you get more comfortable in the silence because you know what's around the corner. Sometimes when you're
Yep.
doing newer material and there's some sounds in that, like, oh shit, I wasn't expecting that. And then you try really quickly to get onto the next thing, and it kind of disrupts rhythm.
Yep.
Where I'll like, I saw Jim McHugh do this. Like, if I hit a punchline good and I don't get the response I want, sometimes just sit there and stare at him. The laugh will come.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can wait out the laugh on that where it's almost like an awkward thing that gets more into a laugh, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just you just do that because of confidence. Where you're like, no, that was a good joke. Fuck you guys. You're gonna laugh and just wait till it clicks. If it takes a minute, let it click.
Yep.
That's key. And man, is that cool to because there's no way you can. We all could say shit like this a couple months ago, but in the moment, it's impossible to like do it because You're
Yeah.
so tunnel visioned.
We've talked about I think last week with Maz, we talked about my down for love joke with the chemo connection part. I've done that with that joke where I do that first chemo connection part and you get a couple groans and I just like, I'm waiting. And then, you give that extra couple seconds and you get people like, okay, all right, fine. Here's your laugh. Keep moving, monkey.
No, not that one. You know that one.
That one. Yes, that one.
Not that one. Not that one. You can do as many Holocaust jokes as you want as long as you just don't stop. You just stop talking until they fucking say something to you. Nope.
I'm not going down that. You're not baiting me into making Holocaust jokes.
I will. You would do it in a second if you thought it would get you a laugh. You'd be holocausting your dick off. You'd be holocausting all kinds of problems out there.
Jesus Christ.
So Wayne, if Santa could bring you anything comedy wise for Christmas, what would he bring you?
Goddamn, a segue for you.
That was funny. Sorry, folks. Sorry, folks. That was a funny thing to say. I apologize to absolutely nobody.
Yeah, so our thought here was, if we could have Santa, we might have said this already, I don't know, but if we could have Santa bring us some comedy presents, what would we want? And one that
I've
and this
never
is
said that
not something
sentence. That's a you sentence. You're like, we say it all the time. Dicks in my butt feels so good. You're like, what? I didn't say that.
So, and this isn't meant to be like what do we want to improve on or this or that. It's like this is not something we have that we really want. And for me, my first thought is the ability to like think outside of my box of comedy, be able to write in somebody else's voice. I only have the ability to write in the way that I would say something.
Yeah, I saw Greg Fitzsimmons talk about this. Like he did like the Ellen Show and stuff like that, which he hated. But he also wrote for other Tonight shows, and he talked about like he was being interviewed, and they were like, "Oh, when you write a really good joke, does a part of you want to put that in your act and not give it to to the show you're writing for?" Because if you're writing jokes for Jimmy Kimmel and you write one, you're like, "Oh, that's a really good joke." How do you not always put that in your act? And he's like, well, I know whose voice I'm writing in, so that never really comes up. He's like, if I'm writing for Jimmy Kimmel, I'm writing Jimmy Kimmel jokes. He's like, they're never going to be, jokes that he would do himself. So that was really cool because that's such an analytical way to be like, no, it's almost like I feel like I can write a joke in your voice now because I know how you write jokes so well. So if you were like, let's sit down and have a writing session. And I even do that now. When you send me bits or you send bits to the group chat that we're in, I try to think about them more in your voice. Like, where would your punchlines tend to go instead of mine? Because I'm so much more, I've learned of a hard misdirector, or that's not your style. So for me to just always put hard misdirects in your shit doesn't really make sense for the style of jokes that you do.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that. Yeah, I think, and that's something that I don't think would benefit me. I don't have aspirations to go write for a late night show or something like that. That would be something to help benefit the Masters of Bait and other comic friends. Something that if an idea comes up that doesn't really fit with my set or what I'm going for, and I'm like, oh man, Jacques could really use this. I don't think about it in those terms. You know what I mean? So I don't know what would work for him per se. Or anybody else. So.
You will though. It goes up. I do have not aspirations, but I would love that. That's the type of job I would like is writing for a show like that. It's not and it's weird because it's not the type of jokes I like to do, but I do like to think on the spot and create things that for that. I like joke writing. Joke writing is so fun. So you would be given that ability. I'm trying to think about I think doing like if any like right now, if I could get any comedy gift, it would probably be to do a theater. So meaning unearned because it's a gift. Did not get there, but to be able to just try that. I've
Mm-hmm.
tried a sold out room that's a club that's bursting at the seams. I know what the worst that could feel like. I know what the best that could feel like. I think is
Yep.
now. So I think next that's the next thing for. I know did like whatever the 250 person fundraiser and style. Really cool to feel that out. But a 500 to 1500 foot seat theater, completely different.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what that's like.
Yeah. I'll piggyback on that. That'd be an incredible uh, gift.
Yeah, just because that would be the only thing right now that I can't attain without a fake god that we make up for this podcast doing it for us. Because getting
Yeah.
better, like you're talking about, being able to write in someone's voice, like that's attainable. You might be able to do that this year if you just worked on writing and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But to like fall into the Wilbur, that would be something that would be either someone would gift us that opportunity, or God, one of the two, but not our own volition.
Yeah. I agree with that. I think another one that I would like. I think maybe we're going gifts here. Just like boom, here you go. A standalone brick and mortar comedy club, like an OMP. Boom, there it is. I think that would be a shit ton of fun.
Yeah, it would. I mean, that's attainable too.
It's attainable, but I'm not taking out the loan to fucking do it. No, not right now, anyways.
Yeah,
Who knows what the
you would.
future holds? But
You
I'm
would
saying,
never.
like, if in 3 days Santa was like, "Here's a comedy club, Wayne," I'd be like, "Sweet,
That's a good question. So you would want
thanks,
one.
Santa."
You'd want a comedy club.
I think that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah,
I'd be afraid of it being like that's a weird thing to worry about, but it's almost like, oh, you're getting booked because you own the place, and then you stop focusing on getting booked at other places. And do you ever know if people are just booking you because they want to get booked at your thing? I don't know. Lots of
I think it's
insecurities.
more it's more about a culture, right? You could build a culture, um, where it's like look at a lot of some of the comedy clubs now. Like you try to get in, nobody ever responds to you. You go there, whatever. If you had like a cool place, like let's say like what I imagine the Comedy Store to be like back in the day. You go, comics hang out, everybody helps everybody, take tickets, seat people, whatever.
Mm.
Just just work generally in the club just to help out, and then everybody works to have a good crowd there and go up and have fun.
Well, clubs are coming back. I think there's going to be more that open because right now there are like Jacques. He's in the middle of Tewksbury, a Japanese restaurant right now, and it's sold out.
Yeah.
That probably because Christine Hurley's such a beast. But at the same time, we're getting these groups of comics that are good enough to like sell out these rooms.
Mm-hmm.
There's money there. There's money
There's,
in these random places to set it up. There's money in a brick and mortar comedy club, so they're gonna come. Maybe it will be an OMP one. Who knows?
yeah.
Um,
Even if it's not brick and mortar, and I don't know, this we haven't talked about this, but I think it'd be cool too, even if it is like a side room like the Wicked Funny or McHugh's place or that place that Jacques at tonight, like a monthly room would be cool to have
it's true. It
and
would be
set
cool.
up.
Jacques recording tonight, right? Did he have that kid come over to record the video?
He did, yeah. We got to talk about that after we hang up too, if he didn't call you, but
Well, he keeps mentioning it. I keep telling him like, put the kid anywhere. Let's go. I just don't want like I want video. You know how bad I want video and all the stuff that I have. I just feel Jacques really good at. Here's my thing. If I have this kid going video, I'd have to ask the person doing the show if I can have a guy do video there because I don't want to. Because you got to ask that.
yeah.
I don't want to ask that.
Yeah, well, Jacques will.
Jacques
definitely
will in a second. He won't give
And
a fuck.
yeah, we'll see. But there is a show coming up that we're all at, so it would be a sick place to have a video.
Yeah. Well, ask the kid. I'm down to pay. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, what else we got, Wayne? Because we're gonna wrap this sucker up soon.
Yeah, I had a third one. I can't remember what it was.
Well,
Do
you're
you
a
have
selfish
a
bitch asking for 3 gifts. You should only ask for one. You're gonna get cold.
Do you have a second one?
I wish I was 4 inches taller. That'd be sick. Because sometimes when you're a comedian and you get brought up by a guy who's like 6'5" and you're like not that, you're the inverse of that. You go, shit. Everybody thinks I look like a child, and then you have to work your way out of that by making fun of yourself a little bit and then going into it. Where if I was just 6 feet tall, it would never come up. It would never come up.
Speaking of that, we always see Mike Petrobus and Pat Collins, and there's a huge size difference there.
Yeah, they're inverse. That's what it is. They're very
Yeah.
inverse.
Oh yeah, definitely. At the navigation show over the weekend, Mike went up, and before he brought Pat Collins up, I swear to God, I didn't see him do it, but I swear to God, he just brought up the mic stand, just a little more than he normally would have. And when Pat got up there, it was like the mic stand was resting its dick on Pat's forehead. He was standing there, and the thing was like fucking right here, and he's just like looking up at it. He's like, "Really?"
We did a show for Jim McHugh's Comedy Club in Portsmouth, and Liam Hales is awesome, runs that, and he's fucking huge, and Liam's like 6'6" or whatever, and so he set the mic stand up to his mouth when he was setting up the show, and I wanted to make a joke, so when I walked into the room, I walked over to it, and it was like 5 feet above my head, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be a problem for me, huh? And he turned around and went, the mic stand goes down, and I went, shit. Fuck.
Oh, that's perfect.
That's what I get for trying to be funny. Should never try to be funny. All right, folks. Listen, please, God, look for a gift to us. If you're in the Boston area, go check out Little Chuck. See Steve Bjork, legend in his prime. See us there. Big show. We're, I don't know if we're ever going to be more excited about a show than this in this moment of our careers. It's really big. Thankful to all of everybody except you guys. Anybody that's listening, I'm not thankful for you. I'm thankful for everybody else. How about you, Wayne?
Yeah, I have a lot to be thankful for, but I don't want to talk about it.
That was the biggest lie of the episode, and a worthy step in the quest for laughs. Bye, everybody. Dicks in my butt feels so good.